Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the final high stakes fantasy weekly podcast of 2025. Tom, Greg, Geoff are here with you today to announce all of our NFFC National Champions as the season ended on Monday night. And what a wild finish it was, with Bijan Robinson running wild against the Los Angeles Rams and scoring 39.9 points. Okay, guys, let's just quickly recap the football season. We say this every year, but the football season goes by just so fast, right? It seems like yesterday we were in the Park MGM Sportsbook drinking with 70 of our customers, watching the Cowboys and Eagles, having a great time, putting on sunglasses. I think Scott Whelan gave us sunglasses in the bar there. So, but now that it's all done, Tom, what stands out to you about the 2025 NFL season and the NFFC season?
For me, it's the dominance of the running backs. I
Yeah.
mean, Christian McCaffrey, who I was horribly wrong about, by the way. I'll get that out right there. I was completely wrong about CMC this year. He stayed healthy all year, averaged more than 25 points per game. You mentioned Bijan. What a Monday night performance by him. He was the number one player on my draft board this year, a fantasy stud, averaged nearly 23 points per game. That monstrous Week 17 performance. Jonathan Taylor, a sensational second-round value pick. Jahmyr Gibbs, he busted in the playoffs, but he carried people to the postseason. Top 5 running back this year. Devon Achane, James Cook, Derrick Henry, of course. That unbelievable Week 17 performance. Honestly, I think more people need to wake up and start laying off those wide receiver builds that are so popular, especially in the NFFC, and start going back to old school running back builds, because I think that's where the talent is. And I think that's where the money's going to be going forward in fantasy football and in the NFL too. It's so much fun watching these running backs going off and laying the foundation for good football teams. We're seeing it. McCaffrey and the 49ers. We're seeing it in so across the board too. Again, good running backs. Running the football gets you to where you want to be, I think, in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, starting out running back, wide receiver, you almost need to have that one stud running back this year, I think. And I think one thing that stood out to me, and we'll talk about it later, but the back end of the NFFC draft order did very well this year, right? You're seeing a lot of 10, 11, 12 drafted teams that won titles this year. So very, very interesting. But yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to be opening up the draft room pretty damn soon. So we'll see how many of those running backs go in the first round pretty soon. Geoff, we know the season went by very quickly, but we have a lot to look forward to. We got these wide open NFL playoffs. We've got the NFFC postseason contests that are going to be starting up here next Saturday. So what are you expecting to see in the playoffs now?
I'm expecting a lot of uncertainty. We've been talking about it, the last couple shows. And for a while there, I say, no, this is setting up as the Josh Allen year, no Mahomes. And it looked like no Lamar Jackson, even though I would guess they sneak in at this point. But that even that Allen foot injury, that's a little worrisome to me. You could tell that that affected him some in that game against Philadelphia on Sunday. Obviously one of the strengths of his games is running the football. And there was a play, I think it was a 4th down right down by the goal line there. He just didn't have that extra burst. And so that's a huge issue there. So yeah, wide open. With NFC last week we talked. We said, who's the favorite in the NFC? I said, well, I like the Rams, and they've lost 2 in a row now.
Yeah.
And obviously they're missing Devontae Adams, and I still like them. It's hard to argue against how San Francisco has looked, even though that defense, giving up all them points to the Bears, and they're hurt. A lot of injuries there. So I still think the NFC's wide open. I still like the Rams the most. But anything can happen in a single game situation. And I think you're going to see that in the NFC. I think you're going to see that in the AFC. Wide open.
Yeah, totally. I wouldn't doubt if 2 wild card teams, right, not division champions, make the Super Bowl. I could see that. 2 5 seeds, 2 6 seeds, something like that. So it's going to be wide open. We're going to talk an awful lot about the postseason contest next week. I'm going to try to live stream almost every day next week to talk about setting your winning lineup so you can win $125,000 or $50,000. So look for that next week. But Tom, let's get right into announcing our NFFC National Champions. In the NFFC, we had 12. That's right. 12, I don't have that many fingers, national championships and 12 different great national champions. Let's start out with the NFFC primetime, Tom, where NFFC veteran Rakesh Chilakapati and his partner Sean Wilson won the $250,000 grand prize. They finished 21.46 points ahead of Mike Fonte. Great job, Fonte and team there for the title. We know Rakesh. He's a great guy, great champion. Let's talk a little bit about his winning lineup, especially in week 17.
Yeah, it starts with Derrick Henry, right? That unbelievable 45.6 point performance against our Packers in week 17, but it doesn't stop there. You mentioned his partner, Rakesh and Sean Wilson. They had a great team. Got 23.6 points from Trey McBride in week 17. McBride had himself a great game for the Cardinals. 25.9 points from Chris Olave as well. We're going to hear his name a lot today. We talk about our championship teams. 23.3 points from Bo Nix as well, and 22.3 points from Wan'Dale Robinson, who had himself a really nice day for the Giants in championship week as well. So congratulations to Rakesh and Sean. Great players, great champions in the prime time this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you talk about Olave and McBride, what great championship round years they had. And Tom, you said you were wrong on CMC. I was wrong on Olave because I didn't think they'd have a quarterback. I mean, we know how good he is, but it's like, how the hell is he going to get fed? Well, Tyler Shuck fed him, right? When he became the starting quarterback, he did well. So kudos to all of you who got Olave when, the 7th round, 6th round, something like that. So kudos to you. All right. We also had another $250,000 winner as Wilson Moy won the RotoWire Online Championship thanks to Bijan Robinson on Monday night. He finished 19.2 points ahead of Luis Carranza to win another NFFC national title. Wilson won the 2018 Classic overall title, so this is his second NFFC overall title. Geoff, who were the stars on Wilson's championship team?
Again, man, we're going to be mentioning Olave a lot here. I got 4 teams pulled up to talk about for these champions, and Olave's on all 4.
Yeah.
You mentioned, the quarterback uncertainty. I just want to add, the injury uncertainty. That was a guy, how many concussions did he have last year? He was far from a sure thing entering the year, and man, did he pay off here over these last 3 weeks. Wilson's team that won it all, Drake May at quarterback, a guy that, 45 points last week. There was a lot of Trevor Lawrence. There's a lot of Brock Purdy up top. I think this might be one of our only grand champions with May, who I think is now odds-on favorite for NFL MVP after Stafford lost on Monday night. Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne. Again, we talked about that Eagles-Cowboys game at Park MGM. I think what Williams had a couple touchdowns, scored the first touchdown of the year. Guy that I don't think a lot of people seen coming. Zay Flowers, another one that's not on too many of these top teams. Jackson Smith and Jigba, guy that he got. I think he was the most owned player on teams that made it the championship round.
Right.
He's here. And then tight end Kyle Pitts. We talked about a couple weeks ago that Tampa Bay Atlanta game to start things off on the championship rounds 3 weeks ago, Thursday night. Pitts and Robinson, his final 2 tight end flex here at the roster I'm looking at. They had that big games on start on that Thursday night, and man, they carried him all the way through 3 weeks. He maybe should buy I know he's a big Florida Gator fan from when I talked to him in Vegas. Atlanta's close by. Might be time to buy a Falcons hat or maybe a jersey of some sort for Wilson. Then team kicker Seahawks. Saints defense got 12 points. I believe they played the Titans last week. Is that correct? I didn't pay too close of attention to that game, but 12 points. There's a big one. And again, Seattle team kicker. Myers had a couple of big games in the playoffs there. What was that one against the Colts? He kicked 5 or 6 field goals. So team kicker even probably made a difference when it came down to it. So just a great team that got hot at the right time.
Yeah, excellent. Wilson, I talked to him yesterday on the phone, actually, and congratulated him. And he said it was interesting because in the championship round, he was one of the only ones that had Bijan out of the top 10 or whatever. And so on Monday night, he was at the top spot. And if Bijan just came through, he was going to be in good shape. And of course, he came in through at 39.9 points.
Yeah, and all those Puka teams behind him. That was, I'm sure he was sweating all day Monday.
He was, because I think couple guys had the Rams D and Puka, but Puka had a couple of penalties against linemen that called back some big plays for him. So, but yeah, he drafted out of the 2 spot. So congrats, Wilson Moy, 2-time NFFC national champion. All right, Tom, you and I started the NFFC in 2004 with the 14-team classic. Over the last 22 years, we've had 22 different overall champions. Our latest classic champion is someone he used to draft with you in New York City, Martin Bedell. Marty has been with the NFFC all 22 years. He's become our newest and last classic overall champion, finishing 21.71 points ahead of Rick Hart, another NFFC charter member. Both those guys have been chasing this title for 22 years. Who are the stars on Marty's championship team?
Yeah, congratulations to Marty. Like you said, he used to draft with us live in New York back in the day. All right, so CMC led the way for Marty, that big Sunday night game for CMC, 28.1 points for him. You mentioned Chris Olave. Again, a lot of Olave on championship teams, Trey McBride as well. And a good quarterback performance from Jacoby Brissett, 22.6 points. So that was the key players for Marty and his championship team in the Classic. So again, congratulations to Marty, a great guy, great player, like you said, been with us since day one in the Classic. So great to see Marty do well and get that Classic championship this year.
So I wrote up a story on Marty's championship, and this is a 14-team league, remember. He drafted Kyler Murray and Michael Penix. So then he picked up Brissett and Shuck during the year.
Yeah.
Now listen, in a 14-teamer, that's tough to come back from having a 0 quarterback, right? And so kudos to him, because Tyler Shuck and Jacoby Brissett led him to the Classic overall title. Never give up, folks. Keep hitting that waiver wire. Keep picking up free agents. All right, Geoff, let's keep going here. We set a record this year in the NFFC Silver Bullet. 264 owners competing for the $50,000 grand prize. The Silver Bullet is the only high stakes contest that allows just one team per person. We love this contest. Everyone gets just one shot at the title, right? This year we had a couple of NFFC Hall of Famers battling for the title, with Michael Edelman finishing 7.19 points ahead of fellow Hall of Famer Chris Vaccaro. This is Mike's first national championship in the NFFC. Who are the stars on his team?
Well, Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I got to go to the YouTube comments. Just got a text from my friend Scott Engel. 3 of all my all-time favorites. Happy New Year's, fellas, in the comments. And he's saying, preach about JSN. And Mr. Edelman had JSN on this team, the Silver Bullet team. And you mentioned, I know Scott knows these guys well. Those New York guys. So it's going to be Edelman, I think, at the next Greenwich Street Tavern meeting those guys have. I think drinks are on Mike.
I think so. Right.
So, yeah, JSN, again, another big one. Chris Olave, here we go again. I mentioned he's going to be on every one I talk about. McCaffrey, another one that we're going to talk about a lot. Quarterback stack, a Dallas stack. Dak Prescott, George Pickens together.
Nice.
So that was a big one for him all year long. And then this one's interesting to me. Running back Chase Brown. He's a guy that, when we were in Vegas, he was kind of sneaking in there at the end of the first round. I think on the big dollar draft, he was going earlier and earlier.
Yep.
And, I mean, he started off terribly. But once they got Browning out of there, he kind of turned things around. He had some big games to end the season. And I'll mention Chase Brown again later. 29.1 points here this last week. That helped Mike out a ton. And then, your common guys that you kind of see on a lot of teams. But he kind of had some other ones that stand out. Colston Loveland is a big one, tight end. He had to love that Sunday night game. Mike Evans at flex. That wasn't a name I expected to see on a championship winning team. And then the Jaguars kicker and the Saints defense again, rounding out his starting lineup for the last week. So he has some unique names here with Evans and who was Brown, Chase Brown. I'll mention him later. Loveland, but just a great team. And again, with McCaffrey and Loveland, that Sunday night game had to be a lot of fun to watch in the Edelman household.
Yep, absolutely. Well, good job, Mike. That's a good team for sure. All right, Tom, we have 2 great best ball championships and 2 great champions in those contests. NFFC veteran Dave Taylor won our NFFC Cutline Best Ball Championship. He finished 8.64 points ahead of Cal Sewer, who we know and has been with us for 22 years as well. $50,000 grand prize for Dave Taylor. Eddie Ayers won the $30,000 grand prize in the NFFC Best Ball Championship. He finished 33.6 points ahead of David Dorman, another guy who's been with us for 22 years. So talk about those championships and common players.
Yeah, the great thing about Cal is he got in as a wild card team right into that final table of 12.
That's
So,
right.
and then he
Yeah,
made it all the way
great.
up to second place. So,
Yeah.
just goes to show you keep fighting in through the wild card. You can get all the way to that championship round and
Yep.
maybe even win it, but finish second. So, great job by Cal. So, Dave's team, by the way, was one of those teams that had Drake May with that brilliant 45-point assault on the Jets. He didn't even play the whole game. Put up 45 points. They took him out like midway through the third quarter. So great game by Drake May. He also, another Chris Olave team there for Dave Taylor in the cut line. So congratulations to Dave winning his first championship. He's won in the NFBC. Now he wins in the NFFC as well. So Eddie in the best ball got Brock Purdy on his quarterback. He had the 45.95 points in that Sunday night game for the 49ers there. And he also had Christian McCaffrey as well. So he had a nice helping of 49ers in the best ball that helped lift him. He was leading pretty much the last several weeks of the year in the best ball. So he kind of coasted into that championship win there for Eddie Ayers winning the best ball overall $30,000 grand prize. So congratulations to Dave. Congratulations to Eddie for winning those two championships there.
You know, everyone talks about first round, and you got to have an anchor on your team. Obviously, you got to hit it good in the first round. But I mean, Olave, JSN, Drake May. I mean, you're getting those past the seventh round, right? You know, I mean, guys, it's just every pick is so important, man. It's unbelievable. All right, our online auction championship is one of our fastest growing national contests in the NFFC. Geoff and Craig Crawford not only won that title, but he had 3 teams in the top 10 overall. Craig finished 31.82 points ahead of Aaron Smith for that title, winning $15,000 in the process. Who are the top players for Craig on this championship team?
Again, this isn't a stutter. Chris Olave, here he is again, top team. But again, we talked about enjoying watching that Sunday night game. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings, 3 49ers, 2 Arizona Cardinals, Michael Wilson and Trey McBride. You know, you talk about things that swung a lot of fantasy seasons. Putting Jacoby Brissett in over Kyler Murray. When was that? Probably about week 5, week 6. That turned around a lot of McBride stuff. It made Wilson, a weapon. Obviously, the Harrison Jr. injury played a role in that as well. Other than that, Rico Dowdle, that's the only time I've seen him. You know, he was a guy that, had a couple big weeks there halfway through the season, but kind of faded off. But 9.3 points in the final week, but he's in the starting lineup. And then the flex, something we've seen a lot. We kind of talked about it last week. Harold Fannin, so 2 tight ends in his roster and his starting lineup, So McBride and Fannin together. Again, we talked about teams that had the 2 tight end builds. Something, Tom talked about the wide receiver position and how it has fallen off. It's not as crazy to start 2 tight ends. And Fannin's a guy that a lot of people picked up midseason, and he was on a lot of top teams.
Yep.
We talked about the Seahawks kicker. So that big game against the Colts, 10.8 points here this last week. And then the Rams defense on Monday night got him 6 points. So a lot of 49ers, a lot of Cardinals, and then our guy Chris Olave and our guy Harold Fannin. That sums up that roster.
Yeah, very good roster. Very good roster. Great job, Craig. 3 teams in the top 10 overall. Again, we love the online auction championship. Let's just keep growing that and growing that contest for sure. All right. History was made in the NFFC Gladiator Championship as Zach Waxman won this debut contest in the $7,500 grand prize. He topped a field of 1,356 teams to become our first ever owner to win the same contest in the same year. That's right. Zach also won the 2025 NFBC Gladiator Championship overall title. So congrats to Zach for dominating this format. Now, we really love this contest, and we want this to grow next year. Basically, you just draft 14 players, and they all start all 17 weeks. I think people who played that contest this year really, really liked it. In baseball, we filled 2,100 teams in November and December. That's all done. That contest is done 3.5 months before the season starts. So let's try to get the Gladiator even bigger next year. I really want to grow that one for sure. So, all right, let's give it up to Michael Bass. He also won the NFFC Guillotine Championship. That was the first year we ever did that. Won a $5,000 grand prize there. We finished with 97 leagues, 17-team leagues, all different price points, and the championship round was wild, as Michael won by exactly 10 points over Nicholas Ninkovic. I hope I said that right. Ninkovic. How about that? Ninkovic. Geoff,
Bless you.
Talk about Michael's championship team if you can, because it's wild, his roster, right?
Yeah, again, the whole guillotine format is when someone has the worst performance of the week, all their players go on the waiver wire.
Yep.
So, you could see a McCaffrey on the waiver wire if it's, McCaffrey had a bad week or he got hurt or something like that. It doesn't take much. So this is quite the roster. Josh Allen at quarterback, McCaffrey and Achane at running back, wide receiver Jamar Chase, the number one pick in most drafts. Here's our guy, Chris Olave again, even in these big superstar leagues, Olave in the starting lineup, Puka Nakua, Trey McBride, Chase Brown. I said he's coming again. Then the Cowboys kicker and the Denver defense. So that's the beauty of these guillotine leagues. What a roster. And man, he must have, I would love to see where he picked these guys up. I should have pulled that up and seen. But Allen, McCaffrey, Achane, Chase, Olave, Nakua, McBride, Chase Brown. It doesn't get much better than that. That's like an all-star team. That's like an optimal team, it looks like. And
that is for sure.
Yeah, what a fun format, and what a beautiful roster. I'm sure he was having fun watching these results come in on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll write about his championship team and find out what he paid in each round. But you're right. I mean, the CHOP team, all his roster goes into the free agent pool, and he obviously picked up the right people at the right price. So it's a great contest. Again, we'll come back next year with the overall championship and the guillotine again next year. Let's continue to grow that as well. All right, winning the $20,000 grand prize in the NFFC Football Challenge Roto format was George Samus, who had the top two teams actually overall in that one. And he had 3 in the top 7. So good job, George. Earning the $15,000 grand prize in the NFFC Football Challenge points format was David Keel of Las Vegas. Congrats, David. That's a good national title to win as well. All right, just a reminder to everyone who won prize money during the championship round, the prize money is going to be on your player accounts on Monday. Okay, Monday. We need to wait for Elias scoring changes, which come in Thursday morning. Then all the results will be finalized. So standings will be finalized on Thursday morning. Check them out. Our accounting department's off for the holiday weekend, so we'll put almost $4 million in prizes on accounts on Monday. What this means is that prize money for you will be 2026 prize money, not 2025, all right? So for tax reasons, that's good for you. You're going to have a full year to enjoy this money, buy more NFFC and NFBC contests before having to claim it on your taxes. So again, the money you're going to get on Monday is 2026 prize money, so plan accordingly. And don't forget that today is our early bird deadline for saving $75 per NFBC main event team. Now, we have 358 main event teams right now. We're shooting for 855. Tom, I know you're good at math. What percentage is that?
Awesome at math. I actually pulled up my calculator here. That's 42%. So yeah, no, I actually had to use
kudos, man, because I surprised you on that one.
No, I used the calculator. 40. I rounded up.
Yep.
So 42% sold out already by December 31st. That's amazing. So thanks everybody. And again, you still got. I'm not going to do the math, but almost 12 hours left. Take advantage of that early bird discount. Sign up. So time to get that $75 off. Take advantage of our savings. Get that discount. Sign up. You don't have to pay until February 15th. You just got to lock in your reservation. If you want to join us live in Vegas, New York, online, wherever you want to play, just take advantage of the discount.
Damn, I was looking forward to a deer in the headlights look when I asked you a math question, but you
ready,
were prepared.
man.
I couldn't believe that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of baseball, if you want our ADPs, if you need to get started, that's where you go, man. They're the gold standard. Go to playnfbc.com/ADP. That's playnfbc.com/ADP. All right. Okay, and finally, don't forget about our 2 postseason contests. You can see the scroll at the bottom there. $125,000 grand prize for the $200 contest, $50,000 grand prize for the $50,000 grand prize. No draft, no salary cap. You just pick 12 players you want for round 1. Geoff, give a real quick synopsis of how you play our postseason contest.
Yeah. You want to find we talked about it before. You want to find the teams that are going to win. We talked about how it looks like it could be a wild card team.
Yep.
You get a multiplier for each round and that they stay on your roster. You want the teams that win. The people that are ahead in round 1, that's probably not going to be the people that are winning at the end of it, because you get 4 times the points come the Super Bowl. It just works its way up. So again, a great contest. You want to find those sleepers. You want to find that sleeper wild card team that can go all the way. We talked about it. Those Packers teams. I think there's a Steelers team. Some of those teams that just keep playing and playing and playing. That's where the value is. And we talked about it again, how wide open the playoffs look to be. So there's going to be so many combinations this year. It ain't just get your Chiefs, get your Eagles, get your Patriots, like it's been for the last few years. I think this is going to be one where people that can accurately predict who's going to win the games are going to be the ones that have the best chance in this contest.
Yep, no doubt about it. And we'll come back next Monday. We'll do a podcast, and we're going to start to talk about how to plan your winning teams and such. The first thing to do is figure out the 2 quarterbacks that are going to make to the Super Bowl. That's what you want, right? I mean, if it's Stafford, awesome. If it's Allen, awesome. If they can get there. If they don't, if they're not getting 4X, you're probably not going to win the contest. So, and then the second thing is figure out the 2 teams in round 1 that are going to lose. And I mean, it could be the Packers, right? I mean, you don't want players on those ones because you want 2X for the next round. Everybody's going to lose at least 4 players from the first round, maybe 6. You don't want to lose more than 4 players from the first round. So we'll talk all about that next week when we do the next podcast. But this is it for 2025. This is a wrap on our High Stakes Fantasy Weekly podcast for 2025. Again, congrats to everyone who won prize money in the NFFC this year. And look for best ball drafts to start, I would say, in the next 2 weeks. All right, we'll get those up there too. We can start.
Can I hop in here real quick? Just
Sure.
One YouTube comment that we had. Ethan Blake asked, "Where are live events being held in September?" Greg, I know that we're not quite ready on that yet, but soon.
So I'll tell you what, we have space in Las Vegas right now, and we're still talking with New York, but I think we'll be at the Greenwich Street Tavern, obviously, in New York. Las Vegas, we are on the Strip. And I think next Monday we'll announce where it is. Okay, let's get through this, but I will announce it next week, and you're going to be extremely, extremely, extremely happy with the hotel we have for NFFC second weekend in Las Vegas. Okay, we got a lot of.
It's not the Stratosphere.
It's not the Stratosphere. No, that's not. That's on the Strip, but it's way, 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 way down.
I know that's a Tom favorite.
It's a classic.
It's definitely a classic. It's just like the Sahara. But no, it's going to be in the main part of the Strip, and you're going to love it. And we'll announce next week. I promise you that. Okay. So thanks for all the questions and the comments. And everybody have a happy and safe New Year Eve and New Year. All right. And we'll see you again in 2026. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us on the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. To get in the game, go to playnfc.com.